Hello everyone, and thank you for attending today's Bentley webinar, introducing the Bentley iTwin platform. Before we begin, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple application widgets you can use. All the widgets are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most of your desktop space. You can expand your slide area or maximize this to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A widget. We will try to answer these during the webcast. But if a fuller answer is needed or we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. Please know we do capture all questions. There are a few additional help materials that are available in the resource list. We encourage you to download any resources or bookmark any links that you may find useful. For the best viewing experience, we recommend using a wired internet connection and closing any program or browser sessions running in the background that could cause issues. Webinars are bandwidth intensive, so closing any unnecessary browser tabs will help conserve your bandwidth. The webcast is being streamed through your computer, so there is no dial-in number. For the best audio quality, please make sure your computer speakers are turned on and the volume is up so you can hear the speakers. Some network cause the slides to advance more slowly than others, so logging off your VPN is recommended. If your slides are behind, pushing F5 on your keyboard will refresh the page. You can find additional answers to some common technical issues located in the Help widget at the bottom of your screen. Finally, an on-demand version of the webcast will be available approximately 1 day after the webcast and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you earlier. To access learning history and download certificate, simply log on to the Bentley Learn server, that is learn.bentley.com, or direct access to learn.bentley.com/transcript. And with that, I'll hand it off to Sheena Gaines to get us started. Over to you, Sheena.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're excited to be here. Today, we'll be talking about the Bentley iTwin platform, which provides an open foundation for the developer ecosystem to create solutions and applications powered by iTwin for modeling, simulation, project delivery, asset performance, and much more. ISVs can create applications to generate revenue. Engineers can standardize digital data formats for project workflow efficiency, and systems integrators can create digital twin solutions for asset owners. Today, our panel will be myself. My name is Sheena Gaines, and I am responsible for business development around the iTwin platform. And I work closely with our partners as well as our accreditation programs. And I'm joined here with my esteemed colleague, Jason Slocum, who's the Director of Product Management for the iTwin platform. And on the agenda today, we will be talking about what is the iTwin platform, giving an overview of how we can help your organization, discussing who this is for and why you need it. Then we'll be going through a demonstration of the iTwin platform and all of its features. And then we'll talk about the programs and resources for getting started. Jason, over to you.
Thanks, Sheena. So let's go ahead and start with the first topic then of what is the iTwin platform. And before we actually jump into describing the iTwin platform, I'd first like to step back and start by looking at the benefits of using a digital twin. So as you're probably aware, a digital twin is a digital representation of a physical asset, process, or system, as well as all the engineering information that allows us to understand and model its performance. Typically, a digital twin will be continuously updated. That could be from multiple sources, such as sensors and continuous surveying, to represent its near real-time status, working condition, and position. A digital twin enables users to visualize the asset, check status, perform analysis, and generate insights in order to predict and optimize asset performance. Now, as we think about all the different data sources that are collected for a physical asset, such as that engineering information, operations information, business information, as we show on the slide, we can recognize that there's an abundance of information that may be available to represent the asset. Unfortunately, this information also tends to be siloed, and oftentimes there are multiple versions of this information floating out there, and this can lead to stakeholders working with out-of-date information. The opportunity we see for a digital twin is to provide a way of bringing all this information together and keeping it up to date in order to form a single view of truth for the asset. This information can then be made web accessible, so it can be accessed anywhere, anytime, by anyone with the proper permissions. The ways that digital twin can be utilized are then really only limited by one's imagination. Some popular examples we are currently seeing include the use of AR, VR for visualization, 4D, and the use of AI ML to help derive insights from the digital twin. Now, as we think a bit about the built asset, there's a life cycle associated with it. That life cycle starts with concept and planning, and then goes into design and engineering, construction, and ultimately commissioning and moving into an operations and maintenance stage. A digital twin can play an important role in all of these life cycle stages, and I think it's important to recognize that this is not really a linear process, but rather really a loop. So for example, an asset that has already been built and is in operations may have expansions or rehabilitations, which require going back through that whole planning, design, construction part of the life cycle. I also want to highlight that there's really no wrong place to start with building a digital twin solution. You don't need to start with a new asset, and you don't need to have all the information in order to start building that digital twin. The beauty of working with a digital twin is really that it's a living entity, and it can constantly be improved as you acquire additional information. Industry is really recognizing the opportunity, and according to research from Frost & Sullivan, they forecast a 26% compound annual growth in the usage of digital twin for the built environment and construction between now and 2026. So with that context, I'd like to go back and answer the question of what is the iTwin platform. I'm going to start from the left of the screen and first describe what we call an iTwin. An iTwin is an infrastructure digital twin and can include all of the aggregated engineering, operations, and business data that we were looking at on the previous slide. Moving over, I'd like to next introduce you to iTwin.js. iTwin.js is an open source programming library that enables developers to build both front-end and back-end apps for digital twins. It includes the ability to create, align, access, visualize, data mine, and synchronize infrastructure digital twins. This takes us to the iTwin platform. The iTwin platform is offered as a platform as a service, built with iTwin.js as a core component. So much like in Azure or AWS or Salesforce or really any other platform as a service, the benefit of using the iTwin platform is that Bentley is providing all the infrastructure and support to handle deployments, scalability, security, and updates. This is all backed up with a robust SLA. We remove this time-consuming burden and risk from developers so they can instead really focus in on their core competencies and focus on bringing their own digital twin solutions to market faster and with reduced risk and cost. In addition to the core functionality of iTwin.js to build and manage an infrastructure digital twin, the iTwin platform also includes other open APIs from Bentley for interacting with the iTwin. This can include APIs for tasks such as reality modeling, digital component management, data validation, clash detection, issue management, and version comparison. I'll show you some examples of these APIs being used during the demonstration. As you're considering any digital twin platform, I do encourage you to consider if that platform is truly open. As we engage the market, one of the concerns that we hear over and over is about building out a digital twin platform that has a vendor lock-in to it. What would happen if the vendor goes out of business, or if their roadmap takes a turn which does not align with the application that you're building? At Bentley, we're committed to enabling an open ecosystem of digital twin providers, or digital twin developers. This includes both allowing for data ingestion from a wide variety of third-party vendors and providing consumers who are building applications on the iTwin platform with the confidence they are not going to be locked into a single vendor. One of the reasons that Bentley decided to open source iTwin.js is so that developers who build on the iTwin platform are not locked in, and the solution they build could continue working outside of a relationship with Bentley. Now, of course, we believe the iTwin platform is a tremendous value and can help you to reduce your costs and risks, and we look forward to proving that value to you. So with that explanation, I'd like to go ahead and advance here and learn a little bit about all of you before we move into the rest of our presentation. So I'm going to just put two short poll questions up here on the stage. The first, I'd like to understand where you're at in your digital twin journey. So have you gone in and already started building and deploying digital twin applications? Are you currently working on building out your first digital twin application? Or are you kind of just at the starting point of learning more about what the state of the possible is and looking for more information on digital twins and digital twin platform? So I'll leave that up for just another moment here. Okay, well, thank you all for that. And you can see here, this is still relatively new technology here. It looks like the bulk of our audience is just getting started and looking for more information, and really appreciate you joining us today to learn about the iTwin platform and how we can help kind of fill that gap in your offerings. And for the rest of you, I look forward to learning more about what you're doing there. One more question before we move on. We'd appreciate knowing what kind of company you're working for. Are you working as an ISV or an integrator, maybe an individual developer just getting as a startup, or as an engineering firm looking to offer additional lines of business to your owner-operators that you work with? So I'll leave this question up for a moment here as well. Ask you for your feedback on this. Okay. Looks like we are well represented by engineering firms and owner-operators today. For those individual developers who answered the question, or ISVs, encourage you to see the opportunity that lies out here as well with the large interest from engineering firms and owner-operators. Thank you all for participating in those questions. I'm going to go ahead now and turn it back over to Sheena, who's going to talk to us a little bit about who is the iTwin platform for. So Sheena, over to you.
Perfect, thank you. The iTwin platform is a diverse ecosystem that's a culmination of companies such as independent software vendors that build apps for their clients while also enhancing their offering. It also encompasses digital integrators or systems integrators that create and maintain digital twin solutions, or they assist with the integration of different technologies. And of course, engineering firms that customize or develop software applications for owner-operators. And as you can see, all of these organizations encounter many of the same challenges when evaluating platforms, whether you're a full stack developer within an ISV, a contracted software engineer, or someone on the business side responsible for the vision and go-to-market execution. So some of the challenges that we highlighted here are vendor lock-in. That's one that we constantly hear from our users. Expediting time to revenue. That's critical for any organization or developer. And of course, limited developer resources. So not having enough and more to do. And where do these organizations see opportunities? So it's really with the platform unifying data, having the ability to inspect the digital twin, improving collaboration, and anticipating and avoiding issues. And of course, as you can see, there's much, much more, but really it's working with the platform and looking at what we have to offer and how we can make your life easier. So before I turn it back over to Jason for his demonstration, I wanted to reiterate some of the advantages of the iTwin platform. And again, it allows for innovation. We're looking to help you get to market faster, and we're looking to help you reduce overhead. This is a scalable and open ecosystem, which is key to your success. And it allows developers to focus on their core competencies and simplify getting started. So now Jason will take us into our demonstration.
Thanks, Sheena. As many of you may know, Bentley's been around for 36 years. And in those 36 years, we've become a global leader in providing innovative solutions for infrastructure. We've taken that expertise and that experience, and we've rolled it into this iTwin platform. And our objective with the iTwin platform really is to be able to provide enabling technologies to allow folks like yourselves to bring innovative infrastructure digital twin solutions to market. I'd like to demonstrate how the iTwin platform can help you achieve that here and really focus in on 5 key areas. The first is the alignment and aggregation of disparate engineering design data. The second is the visualization of digital twins, and in particular being able to handle very large digital twin models. The third is the ability to interrogate and interact with that digital twin model. The fourth is how you can federate in other data repositories into the digital twin. And then the fifth item here is how you can go in and use that digital twin to help improve reporting and derive insights. Okay, so I'm going to use this diagram to kind of walk us through the different parts of the iTwin platform that I described there a moment ago. Let's go ahead and jump over and look at our first topic, That first topic is alignment and aggregation of engineering design data, and how we're going to go in and handle change to keep that digital twin up to date and evergreen. Before we go on, I do want to highlight that we support a wide range of formats that we can bring into the iTwin, those including Bentley design applications, third-party design applications like Revit, Aviva, as well as interchange formats like IFC and LandXML. So let's take a look at how this could work. Here we have a fast food restaurant. You can see we have an order counter on the left, some seating on the right. And I'm going to bring up the iTwin Synchronizer. This is a desktop application that Bentley offers for synchronizing information from these different design file formats, in this case a Revit file, into the iTwin. But I want to highlight the same thing could be done within your own application using APIs that are available. But what we're doing here is we're just, again, you don't need any special Revit license or anything. You can use our APIs, load in that Revit file, push it into the iTwin, and here we're looking at a series of changes that came in from that synchronization. So you see 7 changes came across, and then that named version that we told as well, that 3A. So here we can see that model has now been loaded into the digital twin. We can pan around and look at it. We can see it's coming in, have all the elements. And then if we expand out this model tree, we can see a little bit more detail here. You can see all the fidelity of the information is coming as well. It's not just the 3D geometry, but we can come in and see the doors and the information about the doors, the information about all the furniture. So again, bringing in the full fidelity of that model from Revit. So in the interest of time, I've gone ahead and made some modifications to that Revit file. I'm showing now that space has been split, so we actually have the fast food order on the left, but a women's clothing store actually on the right. And I'm going to come back in here, and I'm just going to hit that synchronize button. So again, it's the same connection I established before. I'm just doing a manual resync. Of course, you do that on an automated basis as well, so perhaps run every hour in the background. And now I'm going to go ahead and jump into that model, and let's see what's changed. So here you'll see now we have actually 12 changes, as well as 2 versions. So on the right-hand side, you can see the 12 changes. And then on the left-hand side, you can see we have that version A, which encompasses the first 7 changes. And then you see there's some delta changes. And those delta changes are now being wrapped into that version B. So now we can open up that new named version. We can rotate around a little bit here and look at the model. You'll see the changes we made are showing up in the digital twin. And we can come in here and inspect a little bit further. Let's actually use a tool from the iTwin platform called version comparison. So we'll choose the original version to compare this new version to. And we can go in there and color code and see, in this example, what furniture has been added. We can come in and see the other information that's been removed from the model. And we can highlight here what's been modified within the models as well. And we can come in here, see a list of all the elements that were modified, or we can come in and select an element. In this case, let's look at those side by side. And you'll see there's the 3A, the original sync on the right, 3B, the new sync on the left, or the more recent synchronization, if you will. And we can see what happened between those two, what changes were made. So we can see the change in length, who made those changes, when they made them, but really the full information. And I want to highlight again, what we're doing here is we are just resyncing the information, pushing in the deltas, and then we're going through and saying, show me those changes. Show me what changed between that version A and version B. The next topic we want to cover, coming back to our diagram, is visualization of models, and we can handle very large models thanks to our 3D tile streaming technology. So let's take a look at how this works. So here we have a Metropolitan Rail station, and you can see the model that's there. It's actually comprised of a bunch of different design engineering files. We'll look at that here next. But let's turn off the map, and we can come in here and we can take a section through there. So let's just go in and do a plane section. So we can kind of pull that back and see what's really inside this metro station. And let's just jump over there to the front view and zoom in. And here's a list of the different types of files that make up this model. So you can see a bunch of different Revit files, as well as some models from our Open Building Designer, actually Station Designer in this case. And we can go in there and turn on and off some of those design files to isolate down the model. Here we see, for example, the different retail spaces, such as the one I showed you in that previous example. And I'm going to jump into a different save view here and just show you now we're on the concourse level where those Revit files are being merged in with that Station Designer information. And we can pan around, look through the concourse. We can look all around, walk through there. And here you can actually see that fast food restaurant in front of us that we were looking at in that change example a few moments ago. We can click on a door and say, show me some information about the door. So here we can go in there, and again, it's not just the geometry. We can see all the metadata coming in, the swing angle, the dimensions of the door, the IFC parameter if it's attached, as well as other information, for example, the materials and finishes down here at the bottom. So in addition to just walking through there, let's go in and say I want to know where some of the elements are here, some of the physical elements. So I can type in ticket and see all the different elements that have ticket in the name. And let's go in and choose the ones that are the turnstiles, so the ticket turnstiles. And here we've just gone in, we're emphasizing those elements within the model. So here you can see a bunch of turnstiles down at the one end of the concourse. So as you come from the platform down, you can enter the concourse. And likewise, if we turn 180 degrees, we can see some turnstiles on the other end. I can jump out to a different view and see the same highlighting from a cut plane section here of the concourse. And maybe I want to see some other element, in this case our water closets. So I can go in there, put in WC, highlight the water closets. But maybe I don't want to just know where the water closets are. I actually want to look at some space planning there and say, show me where the restrooms themselves are. So I can come down here, look at our spatial containment of the model, because we're bringing that over from the space planning that was originally done within the Open Building Designer and Revit. And we can see the restrooms here. We can highlight those. We can come in and change our isolation. So instead of isolating out the elements, we can isolate where those rooms are. And I could also go through and say, okay, show me where those different retail spaces are, for example. So I can go in and start clicking on those and kind of see where each of those sit within the model. All right, the next thing I want to show you here is the iTwin.js sample showcase. This is available on iTwinJS.org. I'd encourage you to go check it out. But I want to show you a few different things. I'm just going to go through a few of these examples and share them with you, highlighting that all this is done with TypeScript and React, so all pretty common programming languages. So you can come in here. In this case, we're looking at that same metro station model that was built with all the engineering design information from those synchronizers. And we've now federated in a reality model. So in this case, that reality model is a 3D mesh. That 3D mesh was built from some drone capture photographs as well as some photogrammetry taken from the street level. All that information was then turned into this reality mesh with our context capture reality modeling service. And then we can come through here. You're seeing, again, it's a rather large reality model. I think that might be about 20 gigabytes in size, if I recall correctly. But it's rendering quite quickly here in the browser. And again, that's because what we're doing is we're, much like a Google Earth, we're serving up 3D tiles into the viewer. So it allows us to have a very performant web viewer and handle very large models, as well as handle it with quite high fidelity. So for example, here you can see a mural that was captured with some ground photogrammetry brought in with that 3D mesh. And we can actually zoom in on that mural and again, see it's a quite high resolution in terms of what you're able to see there. Before we leave the sample showcase, I'll just highlight quickly a few other samples. Here's one showing global data, zooming in from a Earth view, seeing the map overlaid on a surface. You can see the buildings come in from an open buildings format here. Here's one showing different ways of rendering the model. We have another sample here we'll show you. This is showing just an exploded view, so you can explode the model out and see the parts. Ways of decorating the model, such as dropping in pins there and being able to interact. Sample showing different particle effects like snow and fire. And then the other one I'll highlight here is this is an animation path one, so you can go in there and define an animation path and then walk through that with the viewer. So in this case, for example, going back to that metro station and showing walking from the platform down into the rail level. So now I've shown you some of the examples there and how you can visualize the model. Let's take a deeper look at how we can interrogate and interact with that digital twin. So we're going to go ahead and start here by looking at our issues service, which again is part of the iTwin platform. All the APIs are exposed to come in and do this. And we can come in, create an issue in the digital twin. We can give it a type, so in this case maybe a punch list. Assign subject to it, so maybe I'll tell them to come in here and verify the footing location, assign some additional information such as the date, assign it to an individual or to a group of individuals that have a specific role, do a description if we'd like, and then we can come in and save that issue. Then we come back in here and look at a list of all our issues. So if you're using APIs, you could return a list of all the issues. In this case, you can see that issues there. We have a screenshot of the issue that was created. And we can come back in here and actually just refresh, say, let's see all the issues. And there we go. There's the one we just created. Next, let's look at a few other functions of the iTwin platform, including validation and clash detection. So let's go up here and look at the results first and see what we have. So here you can see we have the results of some different runs that were done. And we're going to start by looking at this volume check validation test and see what that does. So you see it returned 194 elements for us here. And we can see a list of all the elements that were returned and why they passed this validation check. And the reason being based on those rules that were shown on the right-hand side. And you can see the same rules here. So if you scroll through, different elements were failing for different reasons. Wall volume check. Here, let's go back and we can pick on those plumbing fixtures, those toilets again, for example, and see they passed a rule that says plumbing fixtures volume must be defined. Same thing for the sink here. We can come in, isolate that. So let's go in and see what that rule looked like. Why did it fail? I'm going to come in here, look at our rules, and I'm just going to search for the one that has plumbing in the name, see what we find. There we are, and we can see the plumbing fixture volume must be defined for this Delaware River waterfront model, and it's saying it must be defined for the property lead in the description. So let's go in and actually look at the composition of that rule. So we'll come in, we'll click on Edit, and here you can see again for items of plumbing fixture type, the property lead fixture volume must be defined. And what's in that rule? So we have the model, the rule was run on, the validation check was run on, the version, the schema. So there's multiple schemas here in this model. We chose the one that has the plumbing fixtures in it, and we chose the plumbing fixture class. The property, in this case, the lead fixture volume, but you can see here, let's dig in and see that there's some other properties in here we can look at. So you can see a wide list of properties here, including about the manufacturer, about the different connections and the like. And then property value. So you come in and we're using is defined. In other words, is it empty or not? But we can go in there and set a count for minimum and maximum. We could do a sum. We could do a range. Say if it matches a pattern. So a lot of different ways we can run validation checks on the model. But let's come out and exit that. And let's jump back over and look at that isolated sink from before. And we can come in here, look at the properties of the sink, and scroll down. And there we are, plumbing fixture lead properties. And sure enough, if you look at that lead fixture volume, it's blank. It hasn't been brought over or populated from the original engineering design file. We have clash detection up next here. And in this clash, we're actually comparing the architectural and structural models that were synchronized into this iTwin. So we can come back and look at the results. And here you see a 4,900 some results. We can go in and look at the list of results here in the table. Likewise, we can go back in and visualize those clash results. And we can scroll down here and see a list of all of them, see the category and the miles that were impacted. And let's look at this, we'll choose this one here with a stair and concrete step interaction. And there you go, sure enough, you can see that the column from the structural model, there we are, S columns concrete, is interacting and interfering with this stairs component from the architectural model. So that's the result of that clash. But again, you can go in there, much like we did for the validation, and set up the different rules that would comprise this clash detection. Okay, going back to our diagram here, the next topic I want to jump into is federation with other data repositories. So for example, how can I bring IoT data sensor into my digital twin? Let's go back to this metro station example and see how that works. So here you can see we've just gone in and added a couple sensors here into that model we were looking at before. And we're looking first here at the plaza level, and you can see we've actually added two sensors into the fountain. So this one here is showing a water pressure sensor. And likewise here you can see one showing us the water level, and you can see that going up and down a little bit. But you can see that's transient information that while those sensors are in the model, the actual information that we're showing there is dynamic. So let's go in, we'll look here at the concourse and go into one of those restaurants and do the same thing. And there we go. Let's go in, we can choose that. And again, what you're looking at there, that sensor itself is a marker, similar to what you saw in the demo before from the iTwin sample showcase. And it's giving us the information, once again, that information about the sensor is in the eye model, or the model that was brought across into the data management layer of that diagram. But the results themselves, you'll see those results are changing, and that information is actually coming in dynamically from another data repository, in this case, an IoT hub. We can go ahead and we can look at a few other examples of that here as well. We can see where we're using information coming in from sensors in order to make decisions and color code in real time what's happening in these rooms. So for humidity, temperature, air quality, allowing you to make combinations of the physical model with the actual sensor information that's coming in and dynamically changing in real time. Now, if you've joined one of our previous webinars, you've probably seen this demo that was done with Doosan and Microsoft's Azure Digital Twins before. Here we're actually bringing in, again, information from another data repository showing not just the power generation based on the sensor information, but also some information from an AI model showing us predicted power and warnings from that system when those two conditions are not met. So in other words, when the observed power and the predicted power aren't matching. Okay, I'm going to come back to this visual one more time and look at the final topic here for today, which is reporting. So most of what we've looked at so far has been pulling that digital twin together and then thinking about how we can visualize it and interact with the visualization aspect of it. But I want to close off today by looking at how we can also leverage that digital twin we've built for reporting and insights as well. So here, let's take a look at this example. So we're going to go back to that metro rail station example one more time. And here what we're looking at is 3 different rail routes that were laid out with Bentley's Open Rail Designer software and then brought into the digital twin. Here you can see the 3 different routes in that route study. And we can go in there, we can change our view a little bit here. So let's turn off that panel and we're going to come back in here and let's look at our routes without the corridors on them so we can just really dig into what we're seeing here. And what you're seeing is the train tracks themselves, so those gray are where the tunnels would go, as well as the white, which is where the building would sit. So that's the exposed area inside of the platform that we're seeing for each of those buildings before. So with the first 2 options, you can see that they are pretty similar. The station's sitting in the same location, but the tunnels are going in different locations. Whereas in this third example, you can see we've actually moved to the location of the building as well. So what we did, we took those 3 options, and then we went back in and said, let's see what we can do to report on that. So we've gone in and assigned some ancillary data here in our reporting, tied back into each of those options. So for each of the different elements, whether it's the sleeper concrete, the platform, the tunnel walls, we've gone in and applied a simplistic formula for cost. And then we've done the same thing here for carbon footprint for each of those elements as well. Now again, we kept this pretty simple for the demonstration, but you can get quite a bit more complex there with those examples. We can then go in here and look at the dashboard that was built for each of those options. And here what you're seeing, this is actually a Power BI plugin. So we've brought information from the digital twin into Power BI. We've gone in and created 3 different concepts. So you can see those 3 different concepts here, 1, 2, 3. And you can see information there relative to the relative cost, relative to the relative carbon footprint of each option. And if you come in here and click Edit, you can actually go in and see the information that's available there. So again, you can see all the information coming from that digital twin into Power BI, which allows us to then generate these types of reports. Here's one other example of a report was built. This one's back on that connected highway. Here, what we're seeing actually is the ability to embed a iTwin viewer directly in Power BI. So we can make it a little bit more of an interactive reporting experience. So as you go through and click on different elements within that dashboard, it not only shows you the volume, but it also will then show you where that element's located as well. So I think that's all I have. Appreciate you giving me the time to walk you through this demonstration, show you how we put together and assemble a digital twin. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Sheena.
Great, thank you. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to talk about some programs and resources. Wonderful. We recently launched our iTwin Developer Accreditation, the associate level course, and we're very excited about this. Here you can learn the basics about creating digital twin applications. And our software development team who created this did a fantastic job tying all of the chapters and content together using a smart home use case. And by the end of the course, you can build a smart home digital twin too. This will also help developers better utilize their iTwin platform subscription. And the course is really designed for software developers with a basic knowledge of JavaScript, TypeScript, and React. Now, even if you're more on the business side of things and you're not a developer, this is a great way to have a foundational understanding of digital twins, even if you just go through the videos and you don't actually do the coding piece. And the course should only take you 3 to 4 hours to complete. There's no cost. It's available to everybody. And these videos are also posted to our iTwin platform YouTube channel, so they can be used as a reference after you complete the course. One other added bonus is once you pass the exam, you will earn a Accredited badge to showcase your accomplishment. And how you can get signed up is email itwindevprogram@bentley.com to receive the registration instructions. So talking about the partner program now, we want to foster a thriving community of organizations who share our vision of creating an open and diverse ecosystem for infrastructure digital twins. And we achieve this by supporting the development of applications built on the iTwin platform and through enabling organizations that wish to take their digital twin apps to market. We offer a variety of benefits for partnering with us, and some of those include envisioning workshops to promote ideation. We use mural whiteboards to look at different use cases and pain points. We also offer hackathons depending on availability, and this is where we'll help guide you through your development efforts and help with brainstorming. And we also have marketing activities or event participation because we want to showcase the solution that you've built on the platform and give you that extra visibility. So how does one become a partner? Well, on the right-hand side, I've outlined a recipe for success. So some of those things include just having a digital twin strategy, even at a high level. And it's really important to have that organizational alignment around your vision. And, whether that's marketing, sales, your dev team, everybody is all in and committed to seeing this through and building it out to go to market. Having the right developer skill set and resources is also important. And having that go-to-market plan. So how do you plan on really getting out there and taking this to the next level? You probably have customers driving this, or you're a customer yourself. And that's where, having that vision is really key. But again, we have the tools and resources to help guide you. And of course, our partners are a critical component to our success. And, they bring unique value to our clients. So for more information, you can visit bentley.com/iTwinPartner to learn more and fill out an application. So a special mention to the iTwin Venture Fund. Bentley iTwin Ventures wants to invest in promising technology companies that are addressing the emerging opportunity for infrastructure digital twin solutions for roadways, railways, waterways, bridges, utilities, industrial facilities, and many other infrastructure assets. And it invests in and helps foster the growth of companies developing innovative technologies, products, and services which expand the infrastructure digital twin ecosystem. So if you think this is an avenue that your organization would like to pursue, you can visit bentleyitwinventures.com to submit your information. And that team will review the details around your submission and look at how you believe this initiative can help your proof of concept come to life, and they will reach out to you. So everybody who attended our webinar today has access to download the Frost & Sullivan white paper titled An Open Platform for Infrastructure Digital Twins. And really the key here is businesses must choose the right partners, technologies, and platforms to develop valuable and sustainable solutions for infrastructure digital twins. And some other key highlights with this white paper are what digital twins offer the infrastructure community. the scale of the opportunity for digital twin solutions, key challenges facing developers creating digital twin solutions, and how the iTwin platform as an enabling technology helps to address those challenges. So you can download a copy of this within the resource section on the console within On24, or you can also scan the QR code on the screen. Great. So how do we start building today? We welcome you to visit developer.bentley.com to start creating digital twin applications. And we do have a trial tier that allows you to build a proof of concept and access our API and SDK library. There's no cost or time limit while in development mode. However, usage limits might apply. In the top right-hand navigation, you'll see an option to get started, which I will speak to in the next slide. But I wanted to touch on a couple more before we advance. Sorry about that, Jason. If we can go back one. So under documentation, you will find our API and SDK library, including the necessary developer code to launch your solution. And under support, we have a few options. So we have our GitHub forum, and we encourage general feedback and questions about iTwin.js. We have Stack Overflow, which is best suited for answers to your REST API coding questions. And we also have a section to submit your ideas, which our software development team will review. And we welcome your input and unique ideas. Lastly, we have the sign-in section. So this is where you can sign up for your account, register your app, and turn on the modules that your application will be using. Perfect. All right, here's what we're excited about, the Get Started section. So we have quick start guides to accelerate your development by showing you how to build a viewer, customize that viewer, and integrate some of the widgets seen in our sample showcase that Jason demoed earlier today. And we are committed to providing you with the guidance and support needed as you embark on your journey, or for some of you, as you continue on your digital twin journey. If you have potential use cases that you want to explore further, don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And we can delve into your proof of concept through our envisioning workshops and hackathons. And of course, we love to highlight our success stories through various marketing channels. So again, I mentioned our YouTube channel. We host these webinars. So we love to show the cool things that people are building. And we look forward to hearing from you. Saley, I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Sheena. Before we begin our Q&A, I would like to do a quick sales poll. Following the presentation of today, would you like to be contacted by an iTwin platform representative for Bentley Systems? I'll keep this poll there for a moment. Kindly respond.
And I think we can actually leave that poll up and move over. And we did have some questions that came in during the presentation here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn my camera on.
Sure.
Gina kind of spoke to that a moment ago, but I would just reiterate, the first thing I'd recommend doing, go to that developer.bentley.com website you saw a moment ago, and you can see some of the different resources there. In particular, the Getting Started guide, which will walk you through the steps to go in, download locally the source code, run it, and then you can run your own local environment there. And of course, that accreditation program as well. I think that's pretty important. It can walk you through, as Shanna said, all the basics, and it really covers all the topics that I showed in that demonstration today as well, of bringing together digital twin, being able to run it, put some sensors in there. Got several questions about if the presentation will be available afterwards, and yes, indeed, it will be available on demand afterwards, both at the link that you saw here, as well as we'll look to get that posted shortly onto our YouTube channel. Let's see, going other questions here. Is there any chance of outage or connectivity issues for iTwin, like other normal applications? Yeah, I think I would challenge anybody to say that there's no risk of outage or connectivity issues if they're working with a web application. As I highlighted with the iTwin platform, we do have a rather robust SLA in place for that. So I would say it's comparable to other platforms as a service in terms of its reliability and high uptime. We certainly go to efforts with both the infrastructure and our process to make sure we're meeting and exceeding that SLA. Let's see, what else do we have here? Could you provide a clear and concise answer on what the difference is between an iTwin and an iModel? I intentionally didn't get into it for the scope of today's presentation. I was trying to keep it a little bit higher, but just at a high level, I showed you that diagram, and on the left-hand side, you saw that engineering design application information kind of coming together and being aligned and aggregated and managed inside that data management layer. Inside that data management layer is where we're keeping all those changes from those engineering files, and we can then have it come out into the visualization component or into the digital twin itself. The aggregation and alignment of all that engineering design information is what we consider an iModel. The iModel can then be complemented with other information, kind of what I showed on that right-hand side, the reality data, the business data, the operations data. And when we bring that all together, what we're doing is we're actually federating in that information. So we're keeping it in its core repositories, as I showed with that IoT sensor information, for example, but we're aggregating it together into that single view of truth. We're not copying it all in, but we're bringing it together to that single view, that single pane of glass. And that amalgamation of information is what we consider to be an iTwin. If you have additional questions, though, happy to dive in deeper with you afterwards. Can you take measurements in the viewer? For example, floor to ceiling height, curb to curb, et cetera. Absolutely. I had limited time for my demo today. I kind of scraped the surface. But if you went into that viewer, there's actually some buttons over there on the left-hand side that do just that. They let you go in there and straight measurements. You can put points in there, survey points, et cetera. So you can absolutely do that. I had a question about the interface. And somebody observed it was pretty similar to the interface of some of our other web applications like ProjectWise 365 and asking if there's any relation there. I want to highlight what I showed you today was a lot of different samples coming from different resources because I kind of wanted just to demonstrate the state of the possible. But I really want to emphasize what the iTwin platform is a bunch of APIs and libraries to help you build your own digital twin solution. So to that end, we provide a iTwin viewer starter sample, if you will. You can go in and download that as kind of a foundation to use for a web application, or if you want a desktop application. Bring that down from GitHub and then build on it locally. But then in terms of what you do to expand upon that, that really is up to you of how you'd want to take that starter sample and make it your own, and leveraging our APIs or, of course, your own APIs to enhance that and make it your own custom application. So the similarities are probably just because some of the samples I showed you were built by other Bentley teams. We're using it the iTwin platform internally as well as offering it to developers such as yourselves to build on. And that's why you're probably seeing some similarities in the UX there. Let's see, we're a few more minutes. I can take just a couple more questions here. What kind of support is there for GIS data in an iTwin? So we can do a couple different things with the GIS data. That's probably a whole other conversation unto itself. But we can bring in shape files. Likewise, Esri data can be streamed into the digital twin. So happy to dive into that topic deeper if you'd like, and we can reach out offline. Why was I choosing a Revit model in my sample instead of showing an Open Bridge or Open Roads model? Actually did it intentionally. I want to highlight our open ecosystem there. I thought it was maybe a good way of emphasizing how you can bring in information, not just from Bentley applications, but from other applications. That's why I use a Revit model. No specific reason otherwise. It's the same exact process, though. And I hope it was clear what I was doing there, that I want to emphasize I'm not a Revit user. I don't have a Revit license, but I still want to be able to, somebody sends me an RBT file or an Open Buildings Designer file or Open Roads file, whatever it may be. I just need to take that file and run it through that synchronization process to bring it in. I don't need a special license of whatever software where it was authored. The whole idea is to make that synchronization process where anybody can do it, not just somebody that's specialized in that design application. Also got some questions on AR, VR, MR technologies and how that works with iTwin. We do offer our own application called iTwin XR, which is a HoloLens application. Encourage you to check that out. There's several samples on our website about that. We also can support streams out there. I focus most of today on web applications, but you'll note on the top of that slide, so some other uses. Unity and Unreal, for example, as game engines. We have some folks who have been actually taking the information out into a Unity, and then from there creating their mixed reality applications with Unity. So a lot of different possibilities of how you can handle MR. So there were some questions about our licensing there. I'm going to park those for today, but I would encourage you, if you'd like to learn more about our licensing or anything else relative to the iTwin platform, Sheena and her team are at your disposal. They're anxious to learn about what you're looking to accomplish, what you're looking to build, and likewise share with you more details about how the iTwin platform can help you get there. So I think that kind of wraps up for today. I'm going to go ahead and, Sheena, unless there's anything else, any parting thoughts from you that would like to share?
No, I think that's great and appreciate all the poll questions. And absolutely, if you want to discuss any of your use cases and ideas, we're happy to do some of those envisioning workshops and talk with you further and figure out what we can do.
Sounds great. And apologies if we had any questions I missed here. I'll certainly make sure we work with Sheena and her team to follow up with you independently. Thank you again for joining us today. And at this point, I think we'll end the webcast. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Sheena and Jason, for a great presentation. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the day, and thanks for attending today's webinar. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.